Today's lesson is on headstock design. On your guitar, it comes with a blank headstock. We've got material here that you're probably going to cut away unless you want a guitar that makes a nice canoe paddle as well. Fender, on their guitars, has a very distinctive shape that they have trademarked or copyrighted or whatever the lawyers call it. That shape is Fender's. We work with Fender, and Fender has asked us, don't have people just trace it and copy it. That's illegal. They don't care for it. So you're going to have to design your own headstock. My background is engineering and physics. I can put a decimal point in anything, but drawing a pleasantly shaped curve, not my strength. But that's what we're going to try to do. So I have a technique that'll help you or help your students get through making an interesting design. Step one is a little bit of research. If you go on the web and go into a Google search engine and type in electric guitar headstocks, you should end up with a page that has all sorts of headstocks designs on it. And you can scroll through. There are hundreds and hundreds of them. Just spend a minute or so looking at it and getting an idea of the type of variation that is out there. And I have emailed you a template called Economy Kit Headstock. And this template is this headstock drawn to scale and photocopied. And when I photocopied it, I put a ruler in it so that on your printer, when you print these out, you can set your 6-inch ruler up against this and find out if yours is to scale. You will want to play around with your printer until you get ones that are printing out to scale. So on this drawing, I have marked some no-fly zones here and along through here. And these no-fly zones are areas where you're not allowed to do any cutting. So on a guitar, remember this is left-handed, that relates to where your tuning machines are, your truss rod adjustment, and your string tree go. So on your guitar, here are where your tuning machines will go, here are where your string trees will go, and your truss rod adjuster. So when you're making your drawings, this is an area that you can't cut. All of this is fair game. Then I'm going to have you do the part where you are designing something. In order to get your left brain and right brain both focusing on the problem and helping you get through this design, we're going to do a 5-part design process. 2-minute quick sketches per design, 5 concepts. The first concept is for you to take a pencil and one of these blanks, set a timer for 2 minutes, then you'll turn off the video, start the timer, and you'll have 2 minutes just to make a quick sketch. Don't worry about lines overflowing, things not being even, just a quick concept sketch of something that you think might make a reasonable design. I know that's kind of loose, but your first sketch, something that might be a reasonable design. So set your timer for 2 minutes, hit the pause on the video, start your timer, do a quick sketch of something that you think might be pleasing, and I'll see you back in 2 minutes. Okay, so you've made one sketch of something that might be useful. For the second sketch, again, you're going to set your timer for 2 minutes, pause the video, start the timer, sketch for 2 minutes, then come back to the video. This time, I want you to draw something that is radical. After all, these are electric guitars. So draw something radical, have fun with it. 2 minutes, see you in 2. So you've done something pleasing, something radical. Now I want you to sort of take a breath, sit back. I want you to do a design that is conservative. So something mild. Set your timer for 2 minutes, do conservative. So your number 4 design is going to be something masculine, something rugged and bold. So something masculine, 2 minutes, go. So your number 4 design is going to be something masculine, something rugged and bold. So something masculine. 2 minutes, go. And your 5th design, your final design, is going to be something feminine, something graceful, something pleasing. Draw a feminine design. 2 minutes, go. Okay, so on my sketches, I did the same sort of things. I made one that was a little radical, maybe a little masculine. I made one that was a little more feminine. I made one that was a little more conservative, another design. But right now I want to stop and think about the mechanical aspect of actually making this design in wood. You have a piece of wood to work with. You want to have something that comes out in the shape of your design, and depending on your skill level at working with wood and the tools you have available, that's going to put a constraint on you. I sketched out these 2 designs as an example. If you were into hokusai and tidal waves, maybe you'd want a headstock that curved around and had a nice big wave cut into it. Interesting, but it has 2 problems from a mechanical standpoint. Number 1, this is a weak point, so that if your guitar ever got knocked over, that could break off, and that would be very disappointing. It's wood, you can fix it, but you wouldn't like that too much. Secondly, cutting into here, you can do, it gets difficult. Sanding into that gets much more difficult. So although you could do a design like this, it has 2 issues that you'd have to address. If you're willing to live with those 2 issues to get that design, more power to you. This design has a point that it comes out to. Points sometimes get broken off and knocked over when things get knocked over and chipped, but it also has 2 shaped holes cut in it. And if that's what you had your heart set on, you could do this. You would drill a hole in the middle of where these holes are, put a small saw down through there, and very carefully saw your way around on that. If you have that skill set and the tools to do that, and that's what you want for your design, that's fine. But let's focus on a little bit more manufacturability. Let's go back to the Fender guitar. Look at this. This is a left-handed guitar, so it might look backwards to you, but this was already part of the neck, this was part of the neck, this was part of the neck, this was the paddle. All they did a straight cut and 1 easy curve. Easy to manufacture, pleasant to look at, distinctive. That is their design, but it's easy to manufacture. Now on your design, I would like you to take a look at the 5 sketches that you've made. Think a little bit about your skill set and tools for working with wood, and I want you to sketch out and draw what your ultimate design that you're going to build will look like. And when you're doing this sketch, be careful. You're going to make it nice and crisp and clean. You want graceful curves, pleasing lines. If you can't draw freehand what a nice curve is, there are a couple of tools. One is called a French curve. You can put a French curve down and trace around different parts of curvature to get the shapes that you want. There are also things like flexible rulers that a lot of art departments have or other places have, and you can bend any type of curve that you want and then trace around it. That'll give you nice, easy shapes to work with. The style I ended up going with was this design. I know it has a point on it, and that is a slight danger zone, but it's an electric guitar, and I plan on painting this guitar body bright red. So I couldn't have too conservative a design. That would just be pointless. So once you get your design drawn, take a pair of scissors, cut it out very carefully, lay it down on top of your neck, and then take a pencil or marker, preferably pencil, and trace around it, so you now have your design drawn into your piece of wood. That's why I had you copy out the copies to scale so that it fits. Once you get your design drawn onto your headstock, then we'll move over into manufacturing.